We're on Mem Tes Amud Aleph, 49. If a needle is found b'oive beis hakosos in one of the walls of the stomachs, so mitzad echad kshera, if the needle is sticking out just from the inner wall, it's kosher. We basically assume that the outer wall was not punctured, but mishneit stadim treifa. If the needle is sticking through both walls, then of course it's treif. V'lo amrinan lechze ikupel bar ikupel gav. We don't say which way is the point, like we did by the case of the liver. In the intestine, kivan de ika oichel mimashkim. There's food and drink there. Ema oichel mimashkim dachkua. You could say that the food pushed the needle, but in the liver you don't have the food pushing. So that's why the havamina is only by the liver and not by the intestine. The needle was found in the vena cava, which is the big blood vessel that travels through the liver. Huna Marbraid Rav Idi Torif said it's treif. Ravana Bar Mamuni Machshir said it's kosher. Also Shail Ravina. They went to ask Ravina. Armalahu Shkilu Glima de Trofoi. Take away the one who said it, take the coat away from the one who said it's treif, and pay it as compensation to the owner of the animal that the guy treifed because he made a mistake. It really was kosher. There was a pit of a date that got stuck in the gallbladder of an animal. Omar Ravashi, Kavina Bey Rav Kahana, we were in the yeshiva of Kahana, Omar, Havadi Simpona Nokad Vasoy. This came through the blood vessel of the liver. First, it came in through the trachea, then made its way to the liver, then to the gallbladder. But not that it was swallowed, so therefore it would be kosher. Aval gav lo kanafka, even though it was so large that it couldn't get out, mirbul rovela, because it took a long time for it to sort of penetrate in, that can work. Hanimila didikla, but that's the pit of a date. Aval dezesa mivzeboza, of an olive it's sharper, and there must have come in through the digestive tract, and therefore there was a hole in it, and it would be treif. Rav Yechon, Lama Nikra Shma Reya. Why is a lung called a reya, lung? Shemeir Sainaim, it gives eyesight to the eyes. It's a healthy food, it helps your eyesight. So the Gemara says it's just eating it without spices or with spices. Toshma, Dam Ravuna Bar Yehuda, Avza Bezuzah Veredida Barba. A goose sells for 1 zuz, its lung sells for 4. If it's just for simple eating, then you would buy a goose, and you'd have the lung. Elia, there's some money, there's extra cost because you have to buy sort of medicinal spices. The butcher has to put his hands in at some point to take the lungs out. So if it's got a hole where that happens, do we say talina or lo talina? Do we say that it's related to the butcher? Or do we say that the hole happened before the shechita and it's treif? Ravada banarsa amar talina. We say it's kosher. Or is it afraid of Mari amar lo talina? The hilchas talina. The halacha is we do say that the hole is related to what the butcher did. Amar Shmuel Drevavo, Abba Meresha Kali Dira from Hava. He was one of the heads of the Arche Kala, V'amar Talinan, and he says we say that it's related to the butcher. They didn't accept that. It makes sense to attribute it to the butcher. When we say sometimes when the wolf ran out with the intestines of a slaughtered animal, and they're found to be punctured, we say it's related to the wolf. So here as well, we would say it's related to the butcher. Morna, if the lung had worms in it, and we don't know whether it's before or after shchita, that the worm came out before Shchita, and therefore there was a hole in it before Shchita, and therefore it's treif. Charam alacha Shchita parish. It happened only after. B'hilchos alacha Shchita parish. It came out after. Rav Shimon Amar Achetinokev, that the hole in the lung has to be all the way to the bronchus. Amar Rav Bar Tachlifa Rav Yirmiyah Bar Avad Shnakev L'Simba Gadol, the primary bronchus. Yosef Ravacha Bar Avad Kamed Ravuna v'Yosef V'Kamar. Amar Rav Molech and Rav Yeshua ben Levi. Halacha Rav Shimon has to go to the primary bronchus. Amar Le Molech Arvo Kamrit. Are you talking about Molech from Arabia? Ain't halacha Rav Shimon. He's the one who said that the halacha is not like him. Kisak Rav Zera. When Rav Zera made Aliyah, Ashkel Rav Bibi Yosef V'Kamar. Amar Rav Molech and Rav Yeshua ben Levi. Halacha Rav Shimon. Amar Le Chayei Demar. I swear the An of Rav Chia, Barav of Rav Asi equal Asr Rav Molech. We visited where Rav Molech was, V'Amri Lei, and we asked him, Iyamar Mar Alach Rav Shimon, did you say that the Allah is like Rav Shimon? V'Amar Lon, Ein Alach Rav Shimon Amri. He said that the Allah is not like him. V'Ad Mad Biyadcha, what is your Masorah? Amar Lei, Ha'amar Rav Yitzchak Barami Rav Yeshua ben Levi, Halach Rav Shimon. However, Ve'ein Alach Rav Shimon. So you don't need a hole all the way to the bronchus. Nikva Keva, the abomasum, which is one of the stomachs, has a hole, it's treif. The fat on top of the keva, Kohanim said it's permitted chela. Rabbi Shmuel, Shomer Mishum Avoisa. V'simonech Yishmuel, Kohanim Mesai Kahane. The Kohen Gadol Yishmuel helped the Kohanim. Mahi, where do we find this? The Tanya. Kol Savarchos Bnei Israel, that Kohanim are commanded to give a bracha. Rabbi Shmuel Omer Lamadnu bracha Yisrael Pi Kohanim. That Klal Yisrael gets blessed through the Kohanim. LeKohanim Atzma Lo Lamadnu. But what about blessings for the Kohanim? Kishu Omer Vani Avarchem. Have you Omer Kohanim Avarch Yisrael V'Kadosh Baruch Hu Avarch LeKohanim? The Kohanim bench Klal Yisrael, and Hashem benches the Kohanim. Rabbi Kiva Omer Lamadnu bracha Yisrael Mipi Kohanim. But Mipi, that we learn it, the whole din of bracha to Yisrael is learned from the mouth of Kohanim. But Mipi Gvura Lo Lamadnu. Kishu Omer Vani Avarchem. Have you Omer Kohanim Avarch Yisrael V'Kadosh Baruch Hu Maskim Al Yodan. The Kohanim bless Klal Yisrael. Kadosh Baruch Hu agrees. El Rabbi Kiva bracha LeKohanim Anole. From Rabbi Kiva, where did the Kohanim get their bracha? Am Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak Mevarechecha Mevarechecha. When Avram is told, I will bless those who bless you. So since the Kohanim are blessing Klal Yisrael, the Kohanim are getting a bracha. Umay Messiah Kohanim. Where do we see that Rabbi Shmuel is aiding the Kohanim more than Rabbi Kiva? The Mukila, the Bichas Kohanim become bracha to Yisrael. Because it sort of places the Kohanim's bracha in the same vein as Klal Yisrael getting the bracha from Kohanim. Rabbi Shmuel Shomer Mishum Avois of Mai. What is this Misor that they heard from Rabbi Shmuel's forefather? The Tanya. Es kol ha'chelev asher la kerev. The chelev on the kerev. I'm going to stop here. We just did half a blot today, and we'll do 1.5 tonight, tomorrow.